Welcome and/or welcome back to my channel. I'm Hannah Blackwell, and today I'm going to be sharing with you the spiciest books I have ever read. So these books on this list today, I have 8 of them, and these are the spiciest books I've ever read. I love spicy books. I really do, and I was very excited to be able to do this video in collaboration with my good friend Maggie. I'm going to have her channel and her video linked down below in the description so that when you finish this video, you can head on over to Maggie's channel and watch her recommendations as well, because she's going to have a bunch of awesome spicy book recommendations for you. I adore Maggie. I adore her channel. She has romance recommendations for historicals, fantasies, and monsters. I just love her. She reads a lot of retellings as well, and y'all know I love a good retelling. So if you like my channel and you like my romance recommendations, definitely you will love Maggie. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to do so. Make sure you click that like button and comment down below and let me know what the spiciest book you've ever read is. All of my social media is linked down below in the description if you want to follow me on Goodreads, Instagram, or Twitter. With all of that out of the way, let's just get into this video. So I think I'm going to start out this list with like my dark mafia type romances, and then I'll get into the fantasy romance genre afterwards. So first we're going to go ahead and start out with Desperate Measures by Katie Robert. This is a Jasmine and Jafar Aladdin retelling, but in this series, Katie Robert basically just has this like alternate universe. People don't have powers. It's not like magical or fantasy or anything like that, but it is a retelling of a Disney movie. So I think some people think it might be a fantasy, but it's definitely not. It's more of a dark criminal underworld type of romance. And this book I have read twice now. I absolutely adore it. It has some of the best freaking kinks. It's so good. If you like dubious consent, consent non-consent, BDSM, and I think there's some daddy kink in here as well, and voyeurism, and it's just, it's so good. It's so good. So basically, yeah, the villain gets the girl in this series. Jasmine is the daughter of some kind of criminal kingpin, basically. Jafar works under him, and he decides to take him out and take over like his organization. Him and Jasmine have had a relationship, like a weird kind of relationship for a while, and I don't want to spoil too much, but if you're looking for a good time, make sure you check the trigger warnings. But once you do, and you're still looking for a good time from this, make sure to check it out soon, because this might even be like my most favorite on the list. I don't know, because I have a lot of amazing favorites on here, but this book is just like top tier. The next book I have here is The Sweetest Oblivion by Danielle Laurie. This is a mafia romance set in the Northeast, I think like the New York area. And our main character is known for being a super sweet girl. She is the perfect mafia princess, basically, and her dad wants to marry her off, but his dad basically first marries off his other daughter, and in this we're following like the 5 families. I don't know what you call it, Cosa Nostra maybe? So one of them, the leader, is like a younger guy, and he recently took over from his father, and he gets basically set up to marry our heroine's sister, but she doesn't want to marry him, and our heroine and him have amazing connection. Now this is a slow burn romance. The spice when you finally get to the actual scenes are freaking on fire. But I think one of the spiciest things about this book is the buildup and the tension. The tension in this book is, I don't think I've ever read a book that's on par when it comes to tension. The tension in this book was just, I mean, amazing. And there was so much like charisma, but animosity and fire between these 2 love interests. And this really gets into the nitty-gritty too. So the crime world, the like crimes that are happening, there is you know, trigger warnings for people being offed during this book. and it's just pretty crazy of a ride. Okay, so the last Mafia book I have is Mafia Mistress by Mila Finelli. This book is not only one of the spiciest books I've ever read, it's one of my favorite books I've ever read. It was like a 5-star book. Not all the books on this list are gonna be like 5-star or even 4-star books. This is obviously just about spice level and spice, but for me, spice also means quality of the spice, right? So, Mafia Mistress by Mila Finelli. Oh my gosh, my favorite mafia romance of all time so far. This is a duet, and then the rest of the series follows different couples, but the first 2 books are a duet with the same couple. And it follows our heroine, who is the daughter of a Canadian-Italian mob boss, and she gets sent to marry off this dude across in Italy. She doesn't want to. She's been promised she can go to university, but apparently her dad is breaking that promise. And when she tries to kind of like get out of this marriage, the dad of her betrothed shows up and kidnaps her and takes her away. But the problem is this dad actually is super attracted to our heroine, and the two get into some crazy, steamy, spicy scenes from there. There are a lot of kinks in here, a lot of trigger warnings, so make sure you check them out. Most of these books have trigger warnings, but the spice in this book, oh my god. There are scenes in this book that live rent-free in my head. I just can't. Dubious consent, consent, non-consent, daddy kink, and I'm trying to think of the others. There's a few others I'm probably forgetting, but I really want to reread this because I adore this series. Definitely check it out if you're looking for a spicy mafia time. Okay, so the next 2 books I'm going to talk about involve daddy kink as well, and their age gap romances, just like Mafia Mistress was. And let's see. Yeah, I think that was the only one that was age gap. Anyway, okay, so these next 2 are age gap romances. The first one I'm going to recommend is Praise by Sarah Kate. And this has been getting a lot of hype on booktube. This whole series, I've only read the first book in the series, but I really want to try the new book that came out because it's also age gap. And this one is, yeah, age gap with a praise kink, daddy kink, and our main character falls in love with her boyfriend's dad or ex-boyfriend's dad. So her ex-boyfriend, she breaks up with her boyfriend because he is just like, ugh, no good. And when she basically tries to go, I think, pick up the deposit for their apartment that they share together from his dad, he mistakes her for someone applying to be his submissive. And so he basically has her act out a scene without her really knowing what's going on. And then when he realizes, he feels awful. And things go from there. I think that's like the cutest meet cute. I mean, it's not cute. It's kind of like effed up, but I liked it. I really thought this whole book was super, super spicy, super hot. Just so you know, going into it, the only thing is I had a couple issues with the quality of explanation about a like thumbs up relationship. And I think there should be a trigger warning considering the fact that a safe word isn't developed until towards the end of the book. This is fiction as long as people don't go around trying to like base their relationships off of this book because this is there are some issues and a lot of things are problematic. But other than that, I thought it was great. Just keep in mind this is fiction, not reality. And the steam, like I said, the steam and the spice in this book is top tier, super hot, super, super hot. The next age gap romance that I want to talk about is The Doctor by Nikki Sloan. This is the only book, or maybe the second book by Nikki Sloan I've read, and I really liked it. This is a shorter book. I think it's less than 200 pages, or it's like maybe right around that. Quite short, and it's another ex-boyfriend's dad romance. Our hero is a doctor and our heroine is like, I think like 19. And this is kind of like a spicier, shortened version of Birthday Girl. And it was really good. The spice and the tension between the 2 characters in this are amazing. And obviously there's something about the tension and of the family dynamics and the taboo aspect of like ex-boyfriend's dad that I really like. I've read a good few of those books, and there's more ex-boyfriend's dad books that I want to read, but this was an awesome one. It's a fun, spicy time, and it's not super long. The spice in itself, I think, is it's really well written. Nikki Sloan just knows how to get it, and she knows how to write some good spice. Another author who knows how to write some amazing spice is one I've already mentioned here, because I feel like you can't do a spicy books recommendation without talking about at least 2 Katie Robert books. And so, getting into the fantasy romance, I'm going to be talking about Court of the Vampire Queen. Now, Court of the Vampire Queen is actually a bind up of a trilogy, the first book being Sacrifice. And I have actually only read Sacrifice, and I've read it twice. I want to continue on and finish the series out, but it is the, like, I feel like the most amount of steam packed into a pages while still there's technically a plot intermixed. This is a vampire romance. It's a why choose romance. Surprisingly, the only why choose romance on this list. I don't know how that worked out, but yeah, I really adored this book. Our heroine is basically sent off to this, to be like the blood bank for this vampire that her father is like trying to control, and he keeps him weak, and then like gives him vampires to feed off of every like many years. And so she gets sent there because she's like his least favorite daughter. They go from there. Literally the spice and the smut and the page two, okay? So it starts immediately and it doesn't stop. So be ready for that. But it's also very high quality, very good. It's such a spicy time. Why haven't I continued? I don't know. I need to finish this book out. The next book I have on this list is Titan by Jillian Graves. Titan is a gargoyle daddy dom romance, so it's daddy kink in there, but our hero is a gargoyle, and our heroine is trying to get by, making extra money by being a sugar baby for men in the area that are really well off. And so there's a little bit of a plot relating to these special artifacts, which is a pretty cool plot if you ask me. This Titan dude is supposed to be guarding them with his other gargoyle bodies. He's supposed to be guarding this room of artifacts and these artifacts in the room. And in the process, he sees our heroine and finds a reason to invite her to be his sugar baby. Adventure and spice ensues from there. The spice in this book, another book that I really want to reread, because the spice in this book is top tier. This is the best gargoyle romance I have ever read. I think I've read 3 now, so not like a ton, but 3. And this is definitely the best gargoyle romance I've read. It beat out Katie Robert. It beat out Sam Nascosta. And those are some great smutty, spicy authors. Jillian Graves, I need to read more of her work. She's a newer author. She's only got like a couple books out. I think she has Blood Moon out, and that's the only other book. And that's a novella. And then she's coming out soon with the sequel to Titan, which I am here for. Waiting very patiently, not patiently. Come on, let's go. If you're looking for a monster romance that's super spicy, super steamy, super hot, check out Titan. And finally, apparently I lied, because the last book on my list is a why choose. It's Baby and the Late Night Howlers by Catherine Moon. How do we not have a Catherine Moon on this list? We must. This is an Omegaverse book, and it's the only Omegaverse book that I have read, and it was my introduction. I think it's a lot of people's introduction to Omegaverse because it does a really good job explaining Omegaverse. So we have our main character, Baby, and she doesn't know that she's Omega. She thinks she's a baby. She goes out to the bar, and all of a sudden she starts perfuming, and whoa, she's an Omega. She gets taken off to this Omega sanctuary by this dude she meets at the bar and is super attracted to. And she starts to basically go through these cards to sniff the different packs in the area. They're like sniffing cards where she can sniff like the members of the pack. And so she goes through, starts sniffing, finds the perfect pack. But guess what? They're not rich. They're not going to spoil her like she deserves. They don't have a lot of money. They're like this motorcycle club type situation. So it's like a MC Omegaverse romance, and I just adored it. The only thing with Catherine Moon books is they can be a little bit long. You know, if you're going to pump that much spice and smut into a book, sometimes I think you really can't go past the 350 mark, and hers tend to be past the 400 mark. And so there is that, but you know, the smut and the spice and the steam are top tier. Catherine Moon is such a good writer when it comes to spice. So definitely recommend if you're looking for another Why Choose an Omegaverse, if you are into MC romances. I think this is a really, really good spicy time to check out. So there you have it. Those are my top 8 spiciest books that I have read. They're my recommendations if you are looking for a book with tons of spice. Make sure to go over to Maggie's channel when you are finished with this video to check out her recommendations for the spiciest book she's ever read. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would love to have you do so. Don't forget to click the like button and comment down below and let me know what the spiciest book you have ever read was, or if any of these books are on your TBR. All of my social media is linked down below in the description, including my Goodreads, Instagram, and Twitter. Until next time, fellow readers, keep reading and living your best life.
'Cause you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away.